What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Wednesday. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my boy Ty Butler and my co-host. It's the 26th of April. No, yeah, April. Wow, time is flying. Like, I can't believe that. Like, really? That's where we are in life? Like, it's just flying. Um, you got the sponsors at the bottom. Hey. Got the sponsors at the bottom. We got Soft Illusions Art Gallery. We got Soft Illusions, Malika and the mother doing something May 13th at the Art Gallery in Philly. If you're in town or around town, if you want to come out and show some love. If not, you can go online and buy something and purchase it. That's a beautiful thing too. We appreciate that love. Also, you got Design Interaction. She builds websites. We're all about supporting people that support us. Got Melba Wilson. Happy belated birthday to Melba. She had a birthday recently. Had a little 70s, 80s theme. I know she was doing her thing, so she had a good time. We got Leon Ellis, Chocolat. That's my man. And Harlem Underground, his clothing line. That's something nice. Check out his stuff. I got a lot of nice wares from that. Got my man Reggie Wells, Quality Speakers Legend. He's in the speakers. I can't forget Ingram Taxes. If you still need your taxes done, reach out to Ingram Taxes. They will help you. And the Deadly Arts of Survival magazine. They're still doing their thing, nice and strong. Those are my guys. I appreciate them. And without further ado, let me ask my man Ty. Ty, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. Yo, listen, Ty. This is where we going tonight, baby. This is where we going tonight, baby.
Okay.
I'm repping it.
I'm a Laker fan, so it's all right.
It's all right. You can watch that. You can watch that game. Hey, loving God, how are you? Yeah, and listen, LeBron had 20 and 20, bro.
Yeah, I
he
know.
did his thing.
I know.
He did his thing. I listen. 38 years old, phenomenal.
I'm a Laker fan and I'm a Golden State fan, so either one,
Oh, okay. So you're a Golden State fan too. All right.
And I know that Golden State game is going to be something else with Sacramento. So
yeah, exactly. So we might have to start doing some sports segments too. Just because we are aficionados in that aspect, so we can talk about it. Hey, Stefania, what's going on? How are you? Hey, loving God, how are you tonight? I hope you all are well. It's always good to see you. Appreciate everybody chiming in. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to it, please. If you're watching it from Facebook, that's fine too. Just subscribe to it on YouTube. That way you can always get the notifications and you don't have to wonder when we go live. So, because we don't want you to do that. What do we want? We wanted to talk about some stuff. And here he come. Here come my other Nick man. What's up, Rich?
What's good?
Rich, I'm ready, baby.
How you doing, Rich?
Who's that, Ty?
Yeah,
who else is gonna be?
Oh man. What's
How's
going on, my
things,
brother?
I'm good. How's things with you, man?
Man, listen, I got the 2 C's, a chance and a choice.
Okay, there it is. I like
That's
that.
it. Yo, so Rich, Ty, now we just, like I said, we got a strong hour. Stefania, hold on, let me put on my glasses because she's writing stuff. But we know we're going to touch some issues. Ty, I had showed Ty some stuff. I think we're going to get some school teachers on. Also, everybody, in May 10th, I have the former president of the Corrections Union coming on, Norman Seabrook. I will be having an interview with him, one-on-one exclusive, just to talk about a plethora of things. So that will be very interesting. I will love that. He's going to give some insight on what he feels about the corrections union and stuff, and what's happening with the correction department, and anything of that magnitude.
It's my birthday.
Oh, May 13th. That's right. You're a Taurus, just like my mother and father. Exactly.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, and happy pre-Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We wish you all the best. We will see you. Of course, the brunch party May 6th. We're doing a little derby thing. Shout out to B. Stacy. She's celebrating her birthday. But we're doing a summer series. We're doing twice a month. at Row House. So the 1st of the month and the 3rd. So please come out and hang out with us. Mark said, you and Rich be easy tonight. He teasing y'all. He said, what's up, everybody? Lou. So go ahead, Ty. We could start off. Ty, I showed a lot of times I got to get more efficient with showing videos and stuff like that. But and oh yeah, here come Norm. And Norm wanted to ask a question too. I know later on we'll talk about that, because we'll piggyback off of what Richard and I and Norm talked about last week. Jose, what's going on, man? How you feeling, brother? I see you all chiming in. Appreciate all the love. Like Stefania said, yeah, a choice and a chance, right, Rich? Absolutely. So, Ty, what was the question that you proposed to me that we wanted to put out there real quick? We'll kind of chop these things up because I know Norm wanted to talk about something. Norm, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good, brothers. How y'all doing?
I'm good. How are you, Norm?
Good.
Good. We going a strong hour, because after that it is the Knicks, baby. The Knicks is on now. Yeah, exactly.
They need to close it out.
I will be giving updates. Rich and I will be giving updates on this. So, Ty, what was the topic we wanted to talk about?
So you had sent me a video. I don't know how long ago it was the incident occurred, but it looks like it was in New York City with NYPD, and it was about I think maybe 3 to 4 officers and a sergeant, female sergeant, and they encountered a guy in the street, and I don't know what happened with the guy, but all you can see in the video is, words exchanged, and the officers push him, and then once they pushed him, then they started pounding on him, hitting him, and he's not hitting back. And then next thing you know, he's down on the ground, and you see the female sergeant with her knee on his neck. And I'm like, wow, and so the question we had discussed was like, do we think law enforcement across the country has learned anything from the George Floyd situation, and to see that happen at this point? Well, like, yeah, I understand some of the frustration from some of the videos I've seen where, individuals in the street, because of the heightened abuse by officers in the past, where a lot of individuals feel they want to challenge officers or even hit officers. Because I saw a video the other day where a female officer she was just standing on her post, and all of a sudden she got smacked in the head by this guy with a bottle, So I understand the frustration and even the, where they're coming from, but to see a situation like that, I'm confused, and that's why I'm posing the question: have they learned anything from the situation, the George Floyd situation?
It's so funny that you asked that, because I think the three of us, and I'm sure Rich knows this too, the mentality of officers is like, I'm doing God's work, I'm doing this. Some, not all. And people need to just respect the police, like police angels from above. And we know a lot of officers are not perfect by any means. And this is not about bashing officers. This is about keeping it 100. We can talk about it because we did it. We lived it. The one thing too, like you said, you talked about the female officer that was walking down, that was on a post. I think it was like a fixer. And for those that don't know what a fixer is, it's a stationary post. It might have been a fixer, or it might have just been a post. She was there, and the man just came by and just hit upside the head with a bottle. Right now we've noticed that officers are being attacked more because of the climate and the way things are. Because I think we all are at the age that we all knew growing up that gangsters and killers, and everybody knew that you didn't kill a police officer. That was the last thing you wanted, was a problem from law enforcement. Right now, that is not the temperament of anybody in this country anymore. People right now will challenge an officer because they feel there's a camera that can videotape it. They can feel they can antagonize you. They feel like they can say whatever they want to say. And it's so crazy. You got people that feel, we can talk about the Trump energy, You got people coming at people of color and saying what they want them to say, to quote unquote with the Karen stereotype. And then now you got people attacking law enforcement. You got law enforcement hating Black Lives Matter. You just got so many different things going on. But the answer to your question, and then I'll go to Rich and Norm, is that officers are stuck. I personally feel they're stuck. They don't know, because they're always human. And to do this job and to think that, if you look at the video, the guy was punching him so terrible. I mean, it was an insult. Everybody that's seen that video was like, yo, this dude, he hit like a you know what. And then the female sergeant, she took him down, and then they put the knee on the neck and everything. But it didn't seem like the guy was fighting back. So I don't know. Some officers seem like they haven't got their thing. I'll go to you, Rich. What's your thoughts on something, brother?
Yeah, put me in, coach. Put me in. Listen.
Got you.
See, the reality of what you're saying is, if you've ever been to a basketball game, a football game, a baseball game, a concert, a rock concert like Billy Joel, anything like that, white folks have always challenged and disrespected police whenever they're confronted by them. Always. But the thing about that is we get labeled for doing the same thing, right? It's something abnormal about us reacting to that, because historically, policing was formulated to police Black people, not white people. It was formulated to police us, right? White folks will curse a cop out in a heartbeat. You got footage of how white folks react when they get approached by cops. They don't act civil. They downright disrespectful, and will get away with it most of the time. Sometimes the cops say, well, you know what? Let me lock your ass up or put the mitts on you. And they usually do that with lower class white folks, right? Where they feel like they can get away with it. But for the most part, white folks don't feel that the brunt of that police enforcement like we do. A white man can say whatever the fuck he want to say to a cop. Get the fuck out of here, and call them all kind of names, and do the same thing like what you see some of the younger Black folks that are doing now, that are protesting against all of this injustice that's been going on towards Black folks. And they're justified for their behavior. And I don't mean just acting like fools, but I mean, you are never going to get the foot off your neck of somebody that has been putting his foot in your neck your whole life. I mean, you ever got into a fight with somebody and they got you in that headlock, but you holding them because you know that at some point they're going to get tired. Mm-hmm. So they trying to choke you out, but they can't.
Right.
And as time goes on, they feel like, oh shit, I ain't gonna be able to choke this motherfucker out, so let me negotiate with him. Listen, man, I'm gonna let you go, but if I let you go, you gotta chill.
Yeah, chill.
No, nigga, you might as well choke me the fuck out, because as soon as you let me go, it's on and popping.
Yeah,
right.
Again. Yeah.
And that's the demeanor that white folks have with us. They cannot live with the fact that the shit that they've done to us, that we will simply just forget about it and say, you know what? Just leave us alone. Just let us live. Just give us the same rights you got. They don't believe that. They feel like if at any point we got the leg up or in a position to actually do something about what they did to us, that we would do it, because that's how they think. They said, if that was me, if you let me go, I'm going to get your ass. Right? So it's imperative to them to keep us at bay. Even if you're a white person that doesn't really believe in the stuff that's being done to us, at the end of the day, it's either them or us, right? So they're like, you know what? Y'all need to chill with that, but, don't do it no more. But push come to shove, choke that nigga out,
Yeah.
So as far as the behavior that Black people have towards the police department now, it's just parody to what white folks have always done. you know.
Right.
But we're the ones really getting our asses whipped. So we're justified to a degree for the attitude that a lot of people of color take towards police officers, because we got a new breed of cops now that are policing a little different, and it's really unfair to them that they got to feel what, you know, their predecessors left them, you know. And again, I'm not saying all cops, you know, except Ty maybe, you know, I'm not saying all cops, right?
Yo, I love it when y'all guys got an answer.
I had to hit you with that, Ty.
I knew that was coming.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all cops do that. But the problem is you got the regular beat walker, right? I forgot what y'all call him. He's walking his beat. And he's getting to know his community. He's talking and communicating with people. And he forges a relationship, right? So then he breaks out. Then the undercover cops come through. Them white boys that got on Timberland boots, shorts, hoodies, and a baseball cap. Ain't got no badge out, but they gun as big as a motherfucker. And they jumping out of a car 5 deep in a little Toyota. Telling you to get the fuck against the wall.
Yeah.
Pull your pants down, nigga. You know?
Yeah,
and then when they find out you ain't did nothing, they just simply say, all right, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So the community doesn't make a distinction between that cop and the cop that's walking the beat that he befriended.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all you motherfuckers is cops. That's the attitude of the community. Because whatever work you put in as a good cop, that bad cop comes right behind you and fucks all that up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So let me, I'm gonna let Norm come in, but I have a question for you too. But go ahead, Norm. What's your thoughts?
I think that a lot of the officers haven't learned with the George Floyd incident. It's being recorded, but they just at the point they don't care. They just don't care. And like I said before, we're worth more dead than alive, because I'm sure it's going to be a lawsuit. He's going to get a little change, and it's going to continue going on. It's worldwide. It's not even countrywide anymore. It's just worldwide, where the police officers are gun ho. You know, they jump out on you. That young man was having words with the officer, and another officer intervened. Then the sergeant intervened, or whoever she was, she intervened, and they need more. They need better communication. They need better communication, because I think one officer could have talked to him and calmed him down, and it wouldn't have escalated. At least from what I saw a brief clips of it, and I think it could have been handled by communication.
Right.
But when you come with that gang mentality and you ganging up on him, and he's not fighting back, why do you have to put your knee on the back of his neck?
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
The thing about it, everybody is sitting there recording. And you can't help them. The civilians can't help, because then they get arrested for interfering.
Yeah.
And who knows if somebody, with the George Floyd incident, the police officers kept the bystanders at bay.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead.
No, let me ask you all a question. Now, I'm all for our people speaking up. I think we've all seen videos of a person of color trying to speak up for their rights, but then they mess up from the law enforcement standpoint when an officer gives them a lawful order. And Ty, you know what I'm saying, Rich, and I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say with this. Gives them a lawful order and messes up the whole game. And then when they'll say, well, give me your ID or get out the car. And they're like, no, why? How come? You're messing the game up for yourself now. Now, we've seen people of other nationalities do that and get away with it. Mike, now, follow where I'm going with this. Rich. we know historically we've been taught, like, all due respect to Emmett Till and stuff like that, like not to look at a white woman and stuff like that, and not to do this and not do that. We still are not the power. So when we think we can do what other people can do, and that starts and lies the problem. I like Ty and I, we try to tell everybody, kind of go along. And I never forget one time I had a speaking engagement, and the guy said, "You want me to tell my son to cow down and be a punk?" I said, "No. What I'm trying to tell him is to go home so he can tell you, so you can handle the situation." Because the bottom line is, they're going to find a way to articulate that abuse. Now it's on footage, and it's being captured. But the bottom line is, I'm saying still, do you think we've abused our that we've got so far? But are we abusing it to the point now where we think we can say what we want to say and do what we want to do, and not get the repercussions that's going to come with that hand? I'll start with you, Rich, and then I'll go to Ty and then Norm.
Bill, the reality is that you got people that followed those guidelines and still got shot. You got people that have actually obeyed the law and still got shot by the police.
Understood.
Right?
Understood.
Historically, again, this whole shit was put in place to keep law-abiding citizen black folks in check. We don't, when I say we, people of color don't trust that the police are going to do what they said when you say, yo, do this or do that. They feel like they're better off getting the fuck out of here and running from the police, or simply fighting for their life. I got a friend of mine who used to sell cars, right? I used to go, sometimes I purchase cars from stuff like that. And we always joke, had these racial jokes and shit. And he was saying something about something that had occurred down south. He was making a joke out of it. And I told him, motherfucker, he was Greek. And he had that olive skin, curly hair. You know, he wasn't that Anglo-Saxon, white, blonde hair, blue eye type shit. And I said, yo, man, down south, they'll treat you just like a black man. You know, you ain't no white man to them. You a fucking Greek motherfucker, greasy haired motherfucker from, Greece. They're going to treat you anything else like that. And I said, they do the same thing to you. And you know what he said to me? He said, no, they won't. I said, why not? He said, because my people ain't going for that shit. He said, I don't understand how black people will have all of this type of shit done to them, and then they get talked out of fighting back by doing the type of shit Malcolm X was talking about. Not turn the other cheek, you slap me, I slap you back. He said, you'll have a black man stand up there, and people stand up there and tell you, stay calm. Don't do nothing about it. Let the law, do what they're going to do, or let God handle it. He said, you motherfuckers is out your mind. He said, if you look at all these other races, they not going for it. You can't even go downtown where the Jews, in Brooklyn where the Jews live at, and get them a fucking ticket. Them niggas whip the motherfucking marshals' asses. They not going for it. But black folks, we'll say protest. We'll get up there and say, oh, stay calm, let's do it the right way. Let justice prevail. And, we'll get talked out of it. But the minute you get a group that says, fuck this shit, we're going to burn this shit down, they're animals.
Yeah.
They get labeled as animals.
Right.
Now, George Floyd's incidents, just like a lot of these other incidents that occurred while videotape was rolling, and these motherfucking cops knew the videotape was rolling and didn't give a fuck, because they was rested in the assurance that the system was going to back them. The system was going to allow them to somehow get out of this shit, and if not, get hired somewhere else. Just like the cop that shot
Breonna Taylor. Yeah, that's the thing.
No,
yeah.
It wasn't Breonna Taylor. It was another shooting, and she got released. She shot the guy where she act like she thought it was a stun gun.
Oh no, she's coming out of jail, but the guy that was part of the Breonna Taylor search warrant got hired as a deputy sheriff.
Just got hired somewhere. But that's my point. They just simply, just like a priest rapes a kid in this parish, He doesn't go to jail. He gets sent to another parish. Police get the same thing. You do some fucked up shit here, and you go to another county and get hired over there.
Well, let me just say this too, and then I'm gonna bring Ty in. The reason why they do that is they resign from the job, so that way they won't say they're fired. Because once you're fired, you can't supposedly get another. Well, in New York City, you're not supposed to be able to get another city civil servant job. I don't know what's happening in other states and countries and cities. I don't know what their law enforcement, but I think that's the same culture. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but that's what they do. Like they resign and they'll let because the PBA or whatever their union will back them and still back them. And then if they win a job back, they'll just go to another law enforcement or something. Ty, what's your thoughts?
Let me just cover your thing, and then I'll go to Rich. Real quick, across the country, you're right. They resign so that they can get another job because they don't have unions to back them. And I have a friend who's a correction officer she was on a car stop, and she was a little intoxicated, not a lot, not to the point where you could be seen or anything, but the guy basically jammed her up. And she had to resign because if she didn't, she wouldn't be able to get another job. Right. In regards to what Rich said, your friend is wrong. He will be treated the same way down south, regardless of how they act. Down south is a totally different animal than it is in New York, Chicago, and LA. What they do differently in their cultures and their communities is, yes, they come together. And is what I've seen in our community. We've started to do a lot more. Let's come together. We'll get an attorney and we'll go after law enforcement, which you see is being done across the country. And that's what they've been doing all along. That's why law enforcement feared them more in a sense. And not to mention the fact that why you see the difference in different communities is this. And I've said this before, regardless of what, when you put an officer in a community to do his job, and he comes from different background, a different neighborhood, a different ethnicity, his mindset, whether he realizes it or not, is his human nature is automatic empathy for people that look like him and act like him and come from where he comes from. Right. So that's mainly the reason why you don't see the same reactions towards white people and from the police when they encounter them. It's unfortunate that situation that I think Bill showed the video of. The female sergeant looked like she was Hispanic, and I think some of the officers were Hispanic and maybe white. I'm not sure, but bottom line is this: officers have to realize that it's not just about going through the academy, getting sworn in, and just getting a gun and a badge and going out there and doing what you learned in the book or what someone tells you in a precinct or in training. You also have to implement common sense from somewhere, whether it's from home training or whether it's from paying attention to the environment you're in. Like when I was younger, old timer told me, he said, you know what? What you need to do is keep your mouth shut and your eyes and ears open, and you will learn something. And as a rookie officer, there's nothing wrong with keeping your mouth shut unless you have to give a command, and keep your eyes and ears open, and you will learn. And some of the stuff that you will learn will contradict a lot of what you may have been raised on and a lot of what you may have heard in the precinct. But for that period of time, keep your eyes and ears open, and you will learn. And then you act accordingly, and that's, unfortunately, I don't think that mindset is being implemented in a lot of offices across the country.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question, Ty, before I go to Norm, and then Norm, you can chime in. So hope you remember all these things that we're talking about. What did you think about what I said in regards to a lot of these videos? And Rich commented on it. He says there have been people that have complied to lawful orders, like Felipe Castillo. He was getting his gun permit and his ID, and he still got shot. That's a crazy situation. We've seen people or we've seen officers escalate situations. I totally get it. So I'm not saying that. I was watching. Well, first, let me just say this. What's your thoughts on what I was saying? Because I can go on something else. But go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, what was
Real quick and short is this. I feel that a lot of times when officers encounter us, officers of a different ethnicity, it's either the fear based on what's instilled in them about Black and Hispanic people comes out when they encounter us, and not just the fear, but also the what goes along with what they think Black people and Hispanic people are all about. That and the fact that there are those that have malice and hatred in their heart, and when they encounter us, it comes out, and those are in those situations, that's what really transpires. That's what I believe.
Okay, Norm, come in, brother. Chime in whenever you want to, brother. Because, and what I was about to say, Norm, I was watching Crash, and I don't know if anybody's seen that movie Crash. You remember the part when Matt Damon pulled over Terrence Howard and I forgot the female actress
And his wife.
and
Yeah,
his
I
wife,
remember. Mhm.
and he
Sandy
disrespected
Newton.
her. Yeah, yes, he disrespected her, right? Terrence Howard had tried so hard to fit in and go along. That's the way he was portrayed in this thing, because she questioned his manhood. That's a hard nut to swallow. Well, first, if you touch my wife, then fuck it, I just got to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just going to jail. It is what it is.
In the way he did in the movie, yes.
Yeah, the way he did it in the movie, I'm just going to jail. I'm gonna take them cuffs, because he's gonna take this. He's gonna take these hands. And I'm gonna give it to him real good. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. But the thing is, the rest of that whole movie, he was trying to get his manhood back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a tough. I mean, that was a real tough thing that they put him in that movie. The way they portrayed it, I don't. God forbid. I hope that never happens to any other man in this world. But I know officers have tried to minimize us and make us more less than a man in their presence. Go ahead, Norm. Whatever your thoughts and comments, brother, please. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I told you the story before. When I drive, I keep my wallet on the console, and I was with my son one day, and I don't know where we were coming from, and I got pulled over. I let all my windows down. I told my son, I said, put both your hands out the window. I put the keys and my wallet out the window. And the cop came over, officer, state trooper came over, and he said, why are you doing that? I said, because I want to go home tonight.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I've let all my windows down so you see inside. I told my son, and my son was like, Dad, why you do that? I said, because it doesn't make you less of a man to get home safe.
And to put him in a position where he can't really act up and show whatever's in his heart, if it's malice or hatred.
Yes, yeah. And I worked with guys who were bona fide Klan members. And we had an understanding that you got to have my back. You got to have my back no matter what. You got to have my back. They felt like the good old boy, well, down here, they felt like it's the good old boys. Nobody should come into their clique, to their circle, to their sanctuary. And like Ty said, they have malice in their heart to start with because they were raised that way. And as far as officers can escalate the situation by not observing the situation fully. Everything.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Everything shouldn't be. If we're having a discussion, I shouldn't be commanding you to do anything.
Mhm.
We should be able to talk. And then if it comes to that point where I got to tell you, take your hands out your pocket or stand still, you know, then it becomes a command. But to command you to do something while we're just having a conversation escalates the situation. Because now it's like, well, who you talking to like that? Why you talking to me? And we having a conversation. Then another officer could come over there and it's like, why he over here? And that escalates the situation.
Yeah.
And we as black people don't trust the police.
Yeah.
We don't trust the police. And it's a shame that we don't,
Hey,
because
Norm, let me ask you a question before we go to that question that you and I talked about over the phone. Let me ask you a question. Like Ty said, we have empathy for people of color a lot of times when we pull them over when we done car stops and stuff like that. And then Rich, I want your take on this from a civilian standpoint. When we pull a person over of color, I know me. I've come with how you doing? License registration. Do you know why I pulled you over? Kind of blah blah blah. I've gotten both sides of it. The typical thing is, yes, officer, what did I do? Some start off with, what did I do? Made a left turn, no left turn, blah blah blah. You have license registration, da 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 da. My thing was, as long as you ain't wolfing me and you're a law-abiding citizen, I'm gonna let you go, because in my mind, everybody can make a mistake, and a moving violation on your license is just another thing of escalating money. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't my thing, writing tickets. Now, I've written tickets for those that got a lot of mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I think, Ty, I know, once you start woofing off at me, okay, now you change the game. And I'm not saying, because me being a person of color, I've always sympathized with the questions. So I feel like I've given you some play, like, officer, what did I do? I'm gonna give you that. Can I have license registration that you made the left turn? Come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you ain't got nothing better to do. Now you're going down the wrong road. You know what I'm trying to say? So my thing is, my question to you, and then I want to go to Rich on this, because I want to know how does Rich handle if he's ever got pulled over by an officer? What is his demeanor? Because Rich is a stature of a man, and you don't see girl in him. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't gonna let you put a girl in him. So I always want to know, how is his demeanor with that coming? But let me ask you a question. Do you agree with Ty when he says we have empathy and sympathy for our people when we pull them over? We're a little bit more lenient until we get that button pushed, and then I want to go to Rich.
well, I feel we have empathy for our people in a lot of different situations, not just traffic stops.
Right.
Because like you said, traffic stop, that's a moving violation. It's points on your license, your insurance go up. Let me talk to you. Do you know why I pulled you over? If it's something stupid, then hey, go ahead, man. Just don't do it no more. But if you start that woof woof woof, oh, you escalated the situation.
Yeah. All right, we
I
lost
gotta
Norm.
do what I
Oh,
gotta
okay,
do.
he's back. I thought we let you lost you. Go ahead.
No. So if once you start that woof woof woof, and for somebody like Rich with that deep voice and that New York attitude, it's not meant to be threatening, but it can be perceived by the wrong officer as threatening, even an officer of color.
Right.
And we wouldn't know how tall he is sitting in his car until he was out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he wouldn't be a threat other than he's boisterous. He's
Now stay
boisterous.
stay there, Norm. Rich, let me ask you a question, brother. I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm asking if you've been pulled over before. How do you handle situations like that, and how have you articulated yourself and stuff like that?
I have been pulled over several times.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you one instance.
Right.
I was coming from an event, with the assemblyman.
Mm-hmm.
Had my suit tie on and everything. It was late. It was about 12 o'clock. I was literally one block from my house. But the street that I came up, it's a one-way street, right? when you go up the hill, when you get to the top of the hill, I got to make a left. And when you make that left, it's a stop sign. So it's late night, and there's a park when you make that left, and it's a long block, right? So I pulled up to the stop sign, but I didn't make a complete stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went up, looked, didn't see nothing, and made the left.
As they call it, a rolling stop. Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
California roll.
As soon as I hit the left, the car that was parked right on the corner with the lights off, they hit me through the lights. Woo, 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 pulled me over. I pull over right away. Now, I had my wallet right there on the dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't smoke, don't drink, ashtray full of change. There's nothing visible in my car. I turned the dome lights on. I let my window down just enough so I can communicate with the officer.
Mm-hmm.
I take the key out the ignition and put it on the dashboard.
Okay.
Cop walks up to me. I said, "How you doing, officer?" He says, yeah, but they got the flashlights. Hit me with the flashlights on both sides.
I hate that too. I hate that. Yeah.
So they said, I'm dealing with this guy. He got the beams in my face. He got a beam on me, but it's not directly in my face because my dome lights are on. Even though I got my lights on, this motherfucker still shining a light in my face, right? Mm-hmm. So I got my hands in plain view. So he's talking to me. He says, you realize you just ran that stop sign? I said, yeah, officer, you're right. I pulled up to the stop sign and I didn't see anybody coming. So I made a left. So he said, can I get your license registration? I said, sure, my wallet's right there. Can I reach for it? He said, sure, go ahead. I said, I just want you to see that I don't have nothing in my car. I don't drink. I don't smoke, blah, 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 blah. He said, okay. I reached, give him my shit. Bang. Put my wallet back. As soon as he takes it, he said, I need you to step away from the vehicle. I looked at him and I said, negative. He said, excuse me? I said, officer, you have my license. You have my registration and insurance. I just told you that I was aware that I did crawl through that stop sign. And if you looked at my license, you would see on my license that I live right there. I said, now, if anything, there's a ticket for what I did. I said, I have no reason to get out of my vehicle because I'm not giving you permission to search my car. He says, well, there's a lot of gun violence going on in the neighborhood, and we just got to make sure that, you know, that it's safe and blah, 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 blah. So we need to search you and check your vehicle. I said, negative. I said, I'm not giving you permission to do that. I said, so if you're arresting me, please tell me what I'm charged with so I can call my lawyer. Mm-hmm. So then I guess whoever was in charge of him walks up and they had a little sidebar and he told him that I wasn't getting out the car and blah, 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 blah. So he takes my license, looks at it and looks at me and then tells him, let him go. Mm-hmm. So he let me go. Mm-hmm. Right? Good. Now, I'm going to say this to you because I saw this. I don't remember whether it was CNN or something. There was an officer testifying about the racial disparity between blacks and whites when they're pulled over. And this is a cop saying this. A cop.
Hold on, Rich, hold on for a second. Recently, in California, Anna Toch, they got that out of 99% of the people, out of so many people, blacks pulled over, like 50 or I forgot the percentage of them were black people that got tickets. And they got them on racial text messaging and stuff like that. Go ahead, Rich.
So this cop was testifying how on traffic stops, when he's paired up with white officers, right? They had these traffic stops and they were at night. He said, the way we police blacks and whites are different. And they asked him to clarify what he meant by that. He said that when we pull white people over, we quote the law. When we pull black people over, it's about control. He says, well, what do you mean by that? He said, because when we pull over white folks, we don't approach them with high beams in their face. We only do that to black folks. Because when we do it to people, it causes a reaction. If somebody walks up to you at night and shines a light in your face from this way and that way, your natural reaction is to do this. When you do this, it's about don't move. Show me your hands. It's about controlling a movement that you caused. Whereas with white folks, they walk up and they quote the law. They say, excuse me, sir, did you realize that you just ran the light, or you just did this and that, and explain the law to them?
Now, Rich, let me interject. That goes back to what Ty was saying, how when people see their own people of color, their own nationality, they have empathy for them. Now, let me just say this.
But that's not always true, bro.
No, I'm not saying. Well, I'm not saying white people
The
won't
majority
do it.
of the time, that's what
I'm just saying.
By and large, more black officers that really put their foot in your ass worse than a white cop sometimes.
I mean,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you,
and
Rick.
they do it because those particular types of cops, they want to be blue. They don't want to be black. They don't want to be white. They want to be blue. And they figure that because they can't be white, but they can be blue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they're blue, they figure they can get the same perks that a white man gets.
I'm gonna let Ty come in, but I just want to say something for all the listeners out there. First and foremost, if you're listening to it, subscribe to it. If you're watching it from Facebook, share it. We're giving them we're dropping some knowledge. I got my man Ty Butler, Richard Williams, and Norm Davis, my host, my co-host, and I'm Bill Force. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I hate it. I despise it. But when an officer puts that light in your face, what he's trying to do is blind your vision so you don't see him. But it reminds me to me, it's such a derogatory feeling, a state of mind. I hate it. I always ask the officer, yo, get that light up my face. I hit him quick. Yo, I'm retired law enforcement. I'm on the job. Get that out my face.
It's deeper than that. It's not just to blind you. It's to cause a reaction from you. When you do that, your shit is like.
Well, I'm telling you I'm just telling you what they posed, what the reasoning they're going to say. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm not going to dispute you at all because I'm never going to say that. But I'm going to say is that's going to be the logistics of how they justify it. Ty, Norm, come on in this. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
As much as I want to disagree with Rich, I can't. He's right. It is to get a reaction from you.
Wait. Say that again.
No. So it is.
This shit is being recorded, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm good.
It is to get a reaction from you, and he's right. That in the majority of cases, they're not doing that to basically see in the vehicle, especially if the lights are on. Absolutely. A lot of times they do, and they're looking around, but they don't have to shine it in your face to do that. And they know, it's going to get a reaction from an individual.
Of course.
Yes, most definitely. I agree that, the circumstances are different when white people get pulled over, no matter what the ethnicity is. But what I was going to say to what Rich said with the black cops putting their foot in your ass and trying to be blue, I agree, but that's with individuals who don't have an identity and are still trying to find their way. And that's why I'm a big fan of you shouldn't be on the job under 25, and not saying that they don't do it even when they're over 25, but everyone matures and comes into their own differently. And then you have a lot of individuals that don't have a personality at all, no matter what age they're at, and they assume the personality of their occupation. And they're trying to be blue, like you said. And just to give you a quick example, I had to light into a Spanish dude. I think he was South American in the 6-7 one night. He wrote my cousin a ticket for being parked on the sidewalk in front of a garage, right? My cousin called me. I was in the neighborhood. I came by. This was when you could still talk to another officer about a ticket. Went in the precinct, talked to 2 white officers. They said, no problem. When he comes in, we'll make sure he takes care of it. He comes in. I'm already outside talking to the CO of the precinct at the time in the parking lot. And I think a gun run came over. So all the officers came running out and running to wherever they were going. And the officer pulls up on me in the car while I'm standing with the commanding officer in plain clothes and says, oh, I can't do nothing with this. Excuse me? You can't do nothing with this. Like he was trying to show off. He's like, yeah, I can't do nothing. What do you mean you can't do anything with this? So now he's trying to pull off and hand me the ticket. So the CO's like, listen, officer, you're not going anywhere. You're going to pull the car over and get out and talk to this detective, you know, and I lit into him. I said, you out here trying to impress these guys and show them that you're a cop amongst cops. But if it was your family member that somebody wrote a ticket to, how would you feel?
You want the courtesy, absolutely.
So you're going to extend it. And then by the time I finished with him, he was all apologies and very humble. But,
Absolutely.
you know, that you're right. That's how it happens.
Hey, Norm, I want you to ask Ty and Rich. We're going to pick up before we get out of here. I want you to pick up on that question on the gun thing. So last week, Ty, Norm had asked Rich and I, and I'm gonna try to paraphrase because Norm helped me out to the extent of the question. We were talking about owning guns and stuff like that. So we were talking about, basically, I was saying nobody should, unless you're law enforcement, but you know, not really law enforcement, military, you shouldn't own an AR-15. But we were talking about gun laws and stuff like that, and we were talking about maybe should people get character reference letters and psychological exams before they get the gun thing. So Norm was alluding to the fact that, you know, he's law enforcement, but he had tried to commit suicide. So he had asked us, did he think he should still have a gun right now? So Rich and I, go ahead. What'd you say, Rich?
I said he asked me and you if we thought he should still have a gun.
Right.
And I said, hell no.
Yeah, right. So Norm had a question. I know you wanted to talk about it, but then Ty, I want you to answer. Go ahead, Norm.
No, that was the question, was someone who had a mental lapse.
Yes.
And they get themselves back together. Do you think, even law enforcement or civilian, do you think they should be in possession of a firearm?
You want my personal or professional?
Both.
Personally, from what I know you, yeah, I think you should get it back. Professionally, I'm gonna tell you, because I worked in the gun unit, and from my experience, one of the main ways I know they can combat this gun problem that we have across America is, one, they just like they do with domestic. If you have a domestic, you're not supposed to get your gun, right?
Yes.
Same thing. I think they should change the HIPAA laws to the point where when it comes to a gun, you should be able, purchasing a gun, you should be able to look at someone's health record as far as if they had any mental illnesses. And I'm going to tell you, because across the board, no matter what ethnicity you are, a lot of these situations, a lot of these individuals aren't wrapped too tight that are out here doing what they're doing and have done what they've done. And yeah, you have those that are on drugs and you have and do what they do. And then you have those that are out there just for the violence because they're into a gang or whatever they do. But to answer your question, I honestly believe that that's one way to combat the gun problem we have. And another way is to they need to have annual or every biannual checks on individuals that purchase a lot of guns. They need to have a unit that goes and checks to make sure they're in possession of all those guns across the country.
You know, the thing and I told Bill and Rich this last week, I go to gun shows.
Mm-hmm.
There is more business done in the parking lot than inside the show.
Absolutely.
Now, until the NRA does something about that,
they're not.
They're not, because it's money.
No, it's not even that. It's the fact that they can't do anything about it. Local law enforcement would have to do something about it. And the mentality, you and I are both down here, right? The mentality down here is not like the mentality up north. Down here, even law enforcement, really, they don't have the same outlook we have when it comes to gun possession. It's a lot of pro gun possession, even from law enforcement for, regular civilians, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Yeah, you should have it, but I think people should, at least like they're doing to us in New York. If we want to renew our gun license, they're making us take a 16-hour course and some sort of training. You know what? Well, you should do that to the average gun owner across the country. And I guarantee you that's another deterrent, because you ain't going to have the dude that goes in the gun shop with his cell phone, FaceTime and his buddy who's in New York while he's in North Carolina, talking about which one do you want and buying 2 guns. That ain't going to happen when he got to go through training to buy those guns.
Well, let me ask you this, Ty. Do you think that civilians should have AR-15s or the AK-47s?
Well, here's the thing. I don't see the need for it unless you're doing it for like a recreational thing, like you going out somewhere and shooting it. But and you have a lot of gun lovers that like to have guns like that, and just to shoot them. And then you have those that they have them for other reasons. I don't think that's the problem, man, because a lot of the shootings ain't coming from assault rifles and AR-15s. That's just the ploy that the government is using right now to say, oh, we need to put a ban on that. No, you need to find other ways to combat the purchase of firearms. And one of them is they need to change the HIPAA law for people who have mental illnesses. And you need to change the age for individuals being able to purchase. You should not be able to purchase a firearm at 18 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should be able to, at least 25. This proof, there's medical proof that your brain, the brain of a human being, doesn't develop until a certain age, fully developed to a certain age. So why are you giving someone whose brain isn't fully developed? It could be on drugs, could be into anything, could have all sorts of problems, emotional problems going on, because the younger individuals, they got a lot going on, right? They're still trying to figure out who they are. And you put them in a position to be able to have a gun? Nah, come on.
Rich, your thoughts?
Okay.
My thoughts are this. If you do like a prohibition against guns, all that's going to do is make more guns being sold underground.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the same thing when alcohol was legal, then it was illegal. Then it was legal again, right? And the gun possession thing, historically, Black folks it was illegal for us to even own a gun. I mean, now, Black folks are allowed to have them. And to me, all of these gun laws are in place to block Black folks from not having guns. Because white folks got them. They already got them, right? They got them in the South. They got them in the North. It's easier for them to get a weapon. And you got a lot of these white supremacist groups that truly believe that there's going to be an Armageddon where there's going to be a war against Blacks and whites. These people in Southern and Midwest and all of these states where they're building bunkers under the ground, they're not just stockpiling guns. They stockpiling supplies. They stockpiling food, anything where they can live underground when this war jumps off. These motherfuckers are training. They are equipped. You can't stop them from getting guns, law or no law. They can build, they know how to manufacture their own guns, because we talked about that the last time. Remember, Norm? Our people are actually building their own weapons, making their own ammunition, and they are trained to use these things from children. They training their children to use them, right? And all of these gun laws that we talking about, they ain't for nobody but us, Now, we're not approaching this whole gun thing from the same aspect they are, We just want to have a gun because everybody else got a gun, for the most part. But you got some people in the South that are Black folks that have been raised with guns, just like white folks, and they know that what I'm saying here is true. They want to make sure they have their weapon to protect and secure their family, because they know all these white folks out there, they got that. And you living in the country, you can get a knock at your door. These motherfuckers will come just like the Klan and come for you, And it's about protecting your right as a human being and as a man, right? But because in the city, you know, all of this gun shit is going on. They point to that as a means to create these gun laws, while at the same time, these white folks is going inside of schools and shooting the whole fucking building up, and then they arrest them and take them to McDonald's and talk about how, you know, the kid was, you know, he was raised wrong and he had emotional issues and all of this shit, and use that also as a premise to block black folks from getting weapons, you know. Now, like Ty said, I do believe that there should be a process in getting weapons. And this is for the law-abiding citizen. But the person that's not the law-abiding citizen, he don't give a fuck about that. Because he ain't going to go up and do a psych test or none of that shit. He's just going to pay that money and get that gun.
Well, not to cut you off, Rich, just to interject real quick. In regards to the gun shows, when they have them, the local law enforcement know the gun show is there. There's not the same way they put a detail on a construction site in the South, because believe that's what they do. They could put detail of officers at the gun show in the parking lots, but they're not.
We said that I said that last week, because that's the way the ATF approached the whole tobacco coming up from down south up to the north when Bloomberg hit us with that tax.
But ATF doesn't have the jurisdiction to put a detail like that. They will go and do surveillance if there's a report or like they know something's going down, but they don't have the manpower and the jurisdiction to just do that. So that's what I'm saying. Like if local law enforcement,
well, they did it for cigarettes, Todd. Doesn't that fall under? They did it for the cigarettes.
Yeah, but it was still you weren't getting a lot of people. It was like they put that
shit on smash.
Yeah, Rich, that was his unit. That was the unit he worked in.
And it wasn't, and they weren't the ones really smashing the tobacco like that. It was the state commission. It was the state licensing commission.
Well, I know
that had a detail that did
enforced by who?
It's a state commission. The law enforcement that deal with the tobacco and alcohol. Even though,
but doesn't that also fall under firearms?
It falls under ATF as well. But I'm telling you, ATF mostly deals with firearms and explosives.
Yeah, so isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but let me interject real quick, Rich. With the ATF, they will do surveillance, and if they see something, they will contact law enforcement in the area. But law enforcement, I've seen it where law enforcement is 15, 20 minutes away. They stay away from the area. They're not there.
And they spin a blind eye to it.
Yeah, I've seen ATF agents walking through the parking lot with their jackets on. And they're looking at people sell guns, and they're not doing anything because their jurisdiction is not for that. What do you need? A grenade?
No, we lost Norm.
Yeah,
he talked his time up.
There he is. He's back. Good.
There ain't no equality tonight with time, man.
Like I said, I go to the gun shows, and what do I need a grenade launcher? What do I need a 50 caliber submachine gun for?
For them white folks that's about to come and get your ass.
Well, I mean, they come. You can come in, but you're gonna be carried out.
Not if they got grenade launchers and you don't.
Are you gonna be found in the backyard as a barbecue?
A motherfucker got a grenade launcher. He got one of those cruise missiles, and they gonna let you have it.
I'm like this though. I don't go looking for it, but I'm not gonna run from it either.
But my point is this, man. These motherfuckers, we thinking guns and AR-15s. They got more shit than that. You know.
They do, and
they got more shit than what we talking about. We sitting here talking about yesterday's news, like that's the worst thing can happen.
And let me
they're not talking about all of the heavy artillery that these motherfuckers got. You know about Blackwater, right?
Yeah,
Blackwater. You know where they're based at, right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, right? And this is not the government. This is an independent company.
Independent contractor
by the government.
An independent contractor
that gets hired by the government.
And they have
they
all
buy weapons from Blackwater.
they have all types of weapons.
But
They have
my
a
point
weapon.
is this: they're selling them to the government and who else? Other white folks. So don't think for a minute these motherfucking mercenaries and these white supremacist organizations and groups don't have that kind of weaponry.
Well,
That when shit pop off, we got our pistols, our shotgun, and AR-13, but these motherfuckers really ready to go to war if they really want to. And we falling asleep on this shit.
Blackwater have tanks.
Hold on, no, let me just interject. I totally agree with you. We are behind the times in weaponry because the bottom line is we still talking about PlayStation and Xbox and shit like that and sneakers. So, you know, let me tell you something. What we're buying our kids at 14 and 13 is not the same thing somebody in the South or in another place in the West is buying their children. I know that for a fact. I've heard people talk about, oh, you know, what'd you get your son for Christmas? Oh, I got him his first shotgun. How old is he? 13. Oh, you know, okay. So I say all that to say is that, you know, you're right about that. When we talk about these gun laws, the guns are, like you said, Rich, the gun laws are not applying to the person. I think or all of you have said this. The gun laws are not applying to the people in the street that's doing these heinous crimes, this lawlessness, shooting people because they're buying guns however they're getting them. I think that entails the problem. I think when we start talking about this government stuff, they're talking about how do we stop the purchasing of guns. So it's obvious it's coming from the gun owners, you know what I'm saying, or the gun salesmen to whomever they're purchasing them. Norm, you said this. You said some of the best deals are done in the backyard, right, or in the parking lot, correct?
Yeah.
Did you say that last week? So,
yes.
You know, so I mean, talking about AR-15s and guns like that, you know, where do we go with this? Because the bottom line is the mass shootings in the schools are done by high-profile guns, AR-15s and assault rifles and guns like that. When we talk about mass shootings, as Stats always says, they come with mass shootings at a cookout. Did 6 people get shot? They include that in mass shootings. And it's a shame because we need to say mass shootings of domestic terrorists and then mass shootings of just straight lawlessness. Because I think there are 2 different mass shootings when it comes to that. But they clump them all together. But you know, for me, you know, Ty says something that I didn't think about when he said, and I have some comments I want to read them. Ty says something. He says, "From knowing you," and I told you this. I think I might have alluded to this last week. I was like, "Yo, you my man. You did it. You know, you beat it. You know, you overcome your situations. So yeah, you know, I'm glad you got it. But if that's a red flag, because we know there's a lot of people out there with power that'll say, oh, he had a mental problem or a mental situation, a mental lapse. Bam, no, he can't never get a gun again. Because who's to say? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I was told on this job, yo, there's people that's coming on this job with DWEs. Yo, they got phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Nepotism is a big thing. So I just read some comments. Mark said, it's deeper than that, Rich. Drones are equipped with weapons that can blow up a tank. Trust and believe non-governmental corporations have robots. This is not Netflix. Mark said,
That's what I said.
Yeah, Mark said, hell, they're right here on the East Coast. Loving God said, Loving God said, with more privileges comes more accountability. Mark said, absolutely not. I'm reading backwards, everybody. So these comments may be in the past. Mark said, absolutely. He said an AK-47 is just not a common use. What's up, John? John said, like Todd Butler said, he said, benign review and a limit to how many gun possessions how many gun possessions you can own. I don't know about that because, you know, you might ask Ty, Norm, and myself, we all have different numbers of guns. And, you know, shit, I might buy guns like I buy jewelry or clothes or sneakers, you know.
I didn't, not to cut you off, Bill, I didn't say denial. What I said was if you have a certain amount, there's nothing wrong with doing an inspection annually or biannually, the same way we inspect our cars. Go ahead.
Let me see what else it says right here. Stefania wanted us to mention. Oh, Darren said you should have to get a license to carry and register your weapon and bullets. That way you have accountability for every gun and every bullet. That would be kind of crazy. Like every bullet, you know, I don't know how you would do that because, you know, that's different. Stefania, huh?
Excuse me for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
You know, one thing I do say they should do is, you know how we used to have to give a case, and you know, we went from I think we all been there long enough that we know we went from 38 the 6-inch 38s to the automatics.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to give a casing of a fire casing for ballistics.
Okay. Well, John said John was saying biennial. Oh, that's what he meant, biennial. All right.
Well, I think they should do that where if you buy a gun, you should give a casing for ballistics, so they can register that gun and have a ballistic profile of that gun.
You'll definitely have a lot less straw purchasing. And what straw purchasing means is individuals purchasing guns for other people. You have a lot less of that if that's a requirement. Yeah.
Well, you know, I was told this a long time ago. The only thing a lock do is keep an honest man out.
Yeah.
That'll keep the criminals. And I'm telling you, there's certain things you can do where you can minimize the criminal activity with purchasing guns. But you know, we know who controls the government.
Even like with the government was able to tear down the Black Panthers, but the Klan is still up. You see, so it's government ran. They know what they know which so-called hate groups to target, and what hate groups they support. I do believe that the government support the Klan.
They got some members in the government. So.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. They got members in the government who are in the Klan. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But see, this is my point, brothers. I keep saying to you, the issue is not guns, it's who got guns. It's us. If we get guns, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. And they show on television all of the other shootings that occurred throughout the nation of these random acts of violence from criminals and shit. Because criminals gonna get guns, period. They're not going to fill out no application. They're not going to do none of that shit that a law-abiding citizen would have to do. They're going to get guns. So I don't give a fuck how many laws you come up with. They're going to get guns because somebody's going to sell them to them. And they're only going to sell them the guns that have limited use. They're not going to give them them motherfucking big-ass, what do you call them, 50 caliber motherfucking machine guns. They're not giving them that, right? You're not going to have those guys that's going to get all of them hand grenades and all the crazy shit these white folks got. Because if you go to one of them gun dealers like that, they're not going to sell it to you. They're going to back away from you, maybe turn you into the police. Because they don't want you to have what they have. They want you to have just enough to kill each other. But when we come for your ass, that's not going to help you because this is what we got.
Wow, this is Real Talk, everybody. That's Rich Williams.
Hey,
that's
I gotta say this, man. What? 61-51 Knicks.
That's it. That's it. Right? That's halftime. That's what we want to close it out. And let me ask you a question. Stefania wanted me to mention over the weekend in Chicago, hundreds of teens took over downtown and beat up people, shot people, broke cars, and looted property, etc. And the police didn't do anything. Did any of y'all guys hear anything about that?
Nah. When they
say
people, that mean the white people.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
They refer to them as people, they're white people. If they refer to them as animals, that's us.
Yeah, absolutely. Loving God, I guess he's talking about. I guess all the stuff he was talking about. He was like Frank Sinatra. That's an old time movie. Then he said contract on Cherry Street. 1977, New York City police movie. Great film.
Hey, yo.
I saw it.
Hey, yo.
Was it good?
It was a good movie.
Bill, loving God is a white man. Tell him to come out from the shadows.
Yo, he said Monday he was black. He was a person of color.
Yeah, I know what he said.
Yeah,
He said he was a person of color.
You said come on.
He didn't say he was black. He said he was a person of color.
Oh, that's right. You're
and
right.
his color could be white.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Or he could be Indian, like Don Lemon had to deal with recently.
Oh yeah. You saw that?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Your Don Lemon had to give money to business. He had to give money to
business. That's a big issue in their community because they don't want to identify themselves as being black.
Well, you know what's so funny? Nobody wants to identify being black until it comes to dancing and sex. You know what I'm saying? And what's in your privates, Because the bottom line, I see everybody
reparations.
Yeah, and you know, listen, I'm gonna go there real quick. I get so mad when I see these dances on these shows and commercials, and you hardly see anybody of color. Now, listen, I'm glad people have found rhythm or have been taught rhythm because I know people out here that are teaching people how to dance. So I'm all for it. But what I'm mad at is that was our shit. You know what I'm saying? Straight dancing. And now you telling me we're outnumbered. Like if you look at the Nick City dances at one time, and I know a former Nick City dancer, she was 1 out of like 15 or whatever. Now you may have 4 out of 15.
That's across the country with the dancing.
It kills me. And let me just say this: that this be a public service
to dance like us.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Let me make this a public service announcement. I don't care, no matter when the test of time, there will be no other nationality that will be able to dance freestyle like we can dance. You know what I'm saying? Like we will not ever be able to dance better salsa than a Latin person. I'm not going to even try. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to dance it, but I ain't gonna try to outdance them. But this is the problem. I see people popping and locking and spinning and flipping. And then the white girls is doing all this. And I ain't mad. Like I said, I ain't mad at anybody getting a check. But I'm mad when my people don't get a check. I will admit that. You know what I'm saying? So let me just read some more comments. 40 said, charge a lot for the ammo. Make it. They're doing that right now, 40. They're charging a lot for ammo. Ammo has gone up. They charge a lot for making it so expensive that you won't want to waste that for nonsense. You absolutely. But see, the difference, though, people don't know. You have gun range ammo, and then you have ammo you keeping the gun for your ass. You know what I'm saying? 40 also says renewal license is like a DOT license register, serial numbers on I think he says gin and ammo, SS numbers. You know what's so funny? That might not be bad. You could answer this, Ty, Rich, and Norm before we get out of here. What would you think about that when they renew a license that you had to put your social security number on the license on your gun or something, or a serial number? It'd probably be too many guns that but I don't know.
Well, our license, you got to you with New York, you got to put all your guns on there.
Yeah,
Listen, there's ways, like there's certain states like Virginia, that the state police get a record of all the gun purchases. Every state doesn't do that, and that's another way to combat some of the trafficking. If every state did something like that, no matter how many guns they bought, whether it was 1 to 10, the state police got a record of it. And guess what? It makes it easier to combat the trafficking. There's a lot of ways that there's things implemented that make it difficult to combat gun trafficking, man. But listen, law enforcement across
Ty, next week I want you to enlighten us a little bit more on a lot of your personal feelings and your professional thoughts, because the bottom line is you did it, you know it. You know what I'm saying? We can sit here Monday morning quarterback and I'm gonna propose this question to you right now, and you can think about it for a whole week. If you sat down at the table with the man, mayor, the president, or whomever, his secretary of security, what would you tell them in lieu of this gun stuff? Because it is something that seems like, one, they don't want to do anything about it because it's almost like no, yes, no. And too many people on one side, they want to do to the extreme, and on the other side, they don't want to do anything. Like you got to come together with that red and that blue and get you some purple. You know what I'm trying to say? Mix that color up and find a thing. Maybe you may have more intel if you can divulge it. If not, then I understand that because
I'm going to say one thing and I'll leave the rest to next week. It's the same thing like drugs. They're not going to do anything to an extreme until it starts really affecting them in their backyard.
Right.
And it started, but they didn't get serious about certain drugs until they had pandemics in their own neighborhoods or in their own communities.
Yeah, well, because it's obviously, like I said, killing their kids still don't mean nothing. They want to arm students. They want to arm the teachers. And
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yo, like a teacher said one time, a teacher said, listen, I come here to teach. I ain't come here to carry no gun. You know what I'm saying? I ain't come here. And then there's a video I think I sent you guys. We could talk about that. I'm trying to get some teachers on if we can on the low about if a teacher gets into it. Yeah.
Teachers will shoot their own students.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
or shoot themselves out of fear. When they pull the gun out the case or the drawer, they may shoot themselves in the foot or the leg. Listen. Yeah.
I mean, and then like it said, I was showing this video to you guys. There's a teacher that defended herself, and so I was talking to a teacher now, and she said it's a shame that teacher is probably going to lose her job. She had to get a lawyer. I was like, really? She said, I said that girl hit her. She said,
I thought that was a porno movie.
Yeah, that's down here. That's down here in North Carolina.
This old girl had her entire ass out.
Only Rich will see that part.
He focused on that. Yo,
you talk about Norm. I'm a man. What about you?
I mean,
listen,
only I would have saw that. You ain't seen that shit, Ty?
I saw it, but I'm gonna get off now. I saw it.
Of course I did.
What you talking about, Norm?
I'm gonna get off, gentlemen.
Yo, Rich.
Norm. What was you looking at? I'm just curious. What was you looking at, Norm?
No, I mean, I saw ass and elbows.
No one's trying to be politically correct, though. He ain't trying to be politically correct.
What was you seeing that was superseded that ass being?
But no, that was down here.
Hey, Bill, don't look at Malika.
He looked 3 times already. You know that, right, Rich? He looked 3 times.
Yo, listen.
But, that was down here.
Hey, Bill,
that was in North Carolina?
Yeah, it was. It was in Rocky Mount.
Rocky Mount, yep.
And then they're gonna post the teacher's social media.
No, they did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they posted she's on Facebook. She got a man's first name.
Wow.
I forgot the first name, but her last name is Steele.
All right.
Well, I know one thing.
So that's what you was paying attention to. Her having a man's first name?
No, because I know a teacher that he carries his gun with him. They don't know he has it on him.
See?
And he told me, he said, I'd rather get caught with it than without it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it's at the point now where it's a shame that teachers feel that way. Where before teachers were there to teach, and now they got to defend themselves because the kids are hitting them. I mean, I don't know. It's like with us. You in that position, what are you going to do?
You can't pull out.
No, you can't pull out, but you whoop that ass. And then just worry about what happens.
She whipped that ass, and she. So what's going to happen now? I don't know the laws down in North Carolina.
She had to get a lawyer. She was arrested for child
abuse.
It was something. It was neglect of a child or
endangerment of welfare of a child or something.
Yeah, something crazy. And she had to post bond. It was only like $500, but still. Now that's on her record. And you can't teach with that on your record.
But she was defending herself.
No, she went beyond that.
No, she
didn't.
No.
You think so?
No,
Rich?
the girl attacked her.
Okay, just like y'all police officers, I worked for the Department of Ed for 35 years and retired. So I can tell you that she went beyond that because what she was supposed to do was restrain the child.
She was trying to.
Punching the child.
She was
on
trying
top
to.
of the
She
child.
fell.
She was on top of the child, punching the child.
No,
she
but
not
she's
supposed to do that.
Rich, she was trying to restrain her, and she fell on the girl while the girl was swinging on her, man.
And
that's when you saw her ass, Rich.
When she
that's
got
when you
on
saw her
top of
ass.
her,
That's when she was on the
started punching her.
Listen,
No, she didn't. She was holding her. She was holding her arms, and the girl was trying to hit her.
the girl was trying to.
I'm
Rich,
just
you know what?
How it goes.
I'm glad. I'm glad Rich said that, and I want you to see. Before I get off, I just want to say this. Now you understand what I mean when I say empathy and how you view perception determines your view. And you coming from Board of Ed or where you work in the school system, you see it your way, we see it another way. And it's the same way law enforcement reacts. Right, so wait, Rich, Rich. Now it's the same thing when you see an officer encounter a situation and you didn't see the whole video, and now all of a sudden all you see is him punching this dude, or maybe you think he's punching the dude, but the dude is swinging and he's trying to restrain him. Rich, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of times
perception breeds reality. He's talking about perception breeds reality.
Yep.
My perception, you're telling me what I saw was different than what you saw?
I didn't see her pounding the girl like that. I saw her really trying to
watch the video again,
and I saw her fall.
The girl punched her. They struggled to the ground, and they're both swinging at each other.
And she
gets on top of her.
Hold on, fellas. Hold on.
The girl is punching up, and she's punching down till she pins her head on the ground.
Okay, hold on.
Watch the video, bro.
Rich, you're the expert of this because we don't know. But Ty made a great.
Wait a minute. I'm not an expert on seeing. Y'all
no.
see just like I see.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that listen, what Ty is trying to say from a law enforcement standpoint, I can still fight you until you stop. That now you're telling us from a DOE aspect that it's all about subduing and restraining. It's never about defending. Is that what you're saying to us?
Defending yourself by subduing. If you put hands on a child, right, and you get put on video like that, you're supposed to basically retreat. You were not supposed to engage. She was holding the girl's cell phone. The girl was trying to get it back from her, right?
And the girl touched her. Yep.
Listen, she was not supposed to stop her from taking it back.
Huh?
I'm telling you.
So wait a minute. So stay with us. Rich. No, I agree with you. Rich, hold on. Rich, hold on. No, Rich, listen to what I'm trying to say. You see how you breaking it down, whether we agree or disagree with you. You see how you're breaking it down because you understand the laws and that's what Ty was just saying how it is with law enforcement. We understand the laws and the legalities of what we can do, but people perceive it another way. I'm not saying you're wrong because what you're telling me, I couldn't be a school teacher because I'd be busting kids' ass left and right. I'll never have a job because the bottom line is you and I talk offline and I won't even say what we discussed, but I'm just saying, yo, look, that shit is crazy. You gonna tell me you punch me in my face and I'm supposed to hold you? I'll bust that little ass.
Rich,
I'm telling you exactly
let me tell you this. Down here in North Carolina, down here in North Carolina, you're not supposed to have your phone out in class. And if you do, the teacher's supposed to take the phone. Now, I don't know. That's been, 6 years now that they implemented that when these kids.
No, they say the same thing up here. But when it gets to a hearing, when your principal is telling you to confiscate that phone, you confiscate the phone by saying, give me the phone. If they don't give you the phone, you cannot take it from them.
Well, I know teachers here have baskets where the kids put their phones in and they get them back at the end of class.
Yeah, but the way you do it, you make implications that if you don't give it to me, this is what's going to happen.
But see,
You do
just
not
like,
physically take the phone.
but see,
Because
just like
once you
Todd was
take
saying,
it, once you take it, right, you are now responsible for that phone, right? Now, somebody could say you took my phone and it wasn't like that when I gave it to you. And it could have been fucked up, right? Now, the teacher that takes that phone got to go through a voucher thing if you're going to do that. I worked at another school where you had like, it was like damn near like going into a prison. They had a gate, you scanned in, you walked in, you give them your phone, and they give you a receipt for your phone. And you come back at the end of the day with that receipt. If you lost that receipt and another motherfucker found it and turned your receipt in, they gave them your phone. Now you're responsible for the phone that you just took from this kid, whether he got a receipt or not.
All right, let me ask this. I'm gonna ask this last question to you, Rich, because it's obviously you know this better than the three of us. What are the procedures? I think she wants to know what's the procedures for the use of force via policies.
Use of force by who?
I guess we're talking about with kids.
Let me tell you something. School safety is even tied. Hands is tied when it comes to putting their hands on kids.
And I was school safety for a year, and I had a kid attack me in Washington Irving and wind up rolling down the stairs with the kid. Now, mind you, I'm a grown-ass man, and he might have been 18, 19, who knows how old he was. And I wind up collaring him. But he hooked off, and he had to pay the price. And I was school safety. So I'm telling you.
What they do?
I locked him up. He put his hands on me. He can't put his hands on me.
As a school safety officer, you're also a peace officer.
Yeah, and I locked his ass up.
Yeah, so you got certain rules and regulations you got to follow. But I'm telling you, when I was in school, the teachers would call school safety. Yeah. And school safety would come to the room, but they were limited to what they can do to the kid. They couldn't take that phone from that kid.
Forget about a phone. If a kid is acting in a violent nature and they swing on someone else, they're a collar.
That's different.
Okay, I'm not talking about a little kid. I'm talking about high school. And that girl was in high school, right? No.
Yeah, but all of that's different.
She was
because now you can't even, because I worked as a dean, we couldn't even segregate kids that was acting crazy.
They already segregated. They put them in special ed. But what was you going to say?
They changed that, bro. They changed that. They had special ed where they segregated them in one group, right? I know. And they went to court and fought that shit. So now, if you got a group of special ed kids, you got to integrate them into the regular ed classes so they don't feel discriminated against.
I know.
So now I'm teaching history. I'm on the board, and some motherfuckers in the back room going, ah! And you go like this, and he chilling.
The girl, I believe, was 15.
So that means she had to be a high school.
A freshman, sophomore.
Yeah. Sophomore, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know because.
Hey, yo, Bill. We got to get off, man. Because
I know the game.
This is doing motherfuckers dirty.
Listen, check this out, everybody. Yo, hold on, Ty. Give us some positive affirmation. Norm, give us some positive affirmation. Rich, give us some positive affirmation. We're going to pick this comment up next week. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about what can you do if you're a school teacher in school. Rich, we definitely need you for next week. Go ahead, Ty.
My affirmation is this. What we perceive is what we believe. Y'all have a blessed week, brothers.
Be safe, my brother.
All right.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks. That's all I got to say. Go Knicks.
No, what you got to say, baby?
I just want to say that we all see things differently, but we all see things the same. And everybody have different opinions on what they saw. Oh, Bill, put on the hat.
Hey, Norm, you getting real long-winded with this shit, all right?
No.
I just told you gotta watch it.
I just want to say,
Rich want to see this game. Rich want to see this game.
Enjoy yourselves. Be safe, and we'll talk next week.
Go
Bill.
Knicks. Say it, Norm. Go Knicks, man.
Go Knicks. Go
My
Knicks.
brother. My
Go
brother.
Knickerbockers.
All
Go
right, later.
Knickerbockers.
Let's go. I see y'all next week, everybody. It's Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster. That was Norm Davis, Ty Butler, Rich Williams. That's Malika in the background. Shout out to Ingram Taxes. Shout out to Deadly Arts and Survival Magazine. Shout out to Melba Wilson. Shout out to Chocolate, Leon Ellis. Shout out to Reggie Wells, Quality Speakers. Also, Malika's doing an event May 13th at her gallery. Don't forget the Derby Party May 6th. The Beautiful People Brunch Party May 6th and the 13th, the 1st and the 3rd of every month. Go Knicks. Knicks is winning. Yankees did their thing. Rangers and Islanders are still in it. Jets just got Aaron Rodgers. We're going to do a sports segment now. We're going to come back. We're going to get it. Let's go. Go Nick. Orange and blue skies. Stephen A. Smith coined it, but I ran it. Go Knicks. See y'all later, everybody. Thank you. Everybody, I saw the comments. I didn't get a chance to write, talk about them. I promise. I apologize. Blame it on the time. Don't blame it on the mind. All right? Force of the moment with positive vibes only. We out of here. Norm, I talk to you later, baby, offline.